This is an oil painting that I did. I love oil because it has this really rich, shiny color, which makes it easy to make things look really realistic. It also blends really, really lovely and easily, but it does take forever to dry. To get a feel for how oil paint works, we're going to do monochromatic value scales. Monochromatic means different shades of one color. To begin, grab your canvas paper. The side with the speckles is the incorrect side. The correct side will look more white and will be a little bit more smooth because it's gessoed. Grab your carbon paper, put it dark side down on top of your canvas paper. Get the papers I've provided that have the value scales, and using a ruler, trace the value scales. Anything you trace onto the carbon paper will be printed onto your canvas paper. If you want to mask the edges with masking tape, you can. Just remember to de-sticky your tape. Oil and water do not mix. You cannot use water to clean your brushes. These are the brushes we're going to use for oil paint. You'll notice that they're a lot stiffer and more coarse. A lot of oil brushes are made of hog's hair or else imitation hog's hair. You're going to use these mason jars over here. They're filled with a substance called turpentine, or we use turpenoid, which is less smelly. You can tell there's a coil in the bottom. If you ever can't find these jars, they're just down here in this cupboard. To clean your brush, you're going to rub the bristles against this coil in the bottom of the jar. Make sure that you do it gently so that you don't damage the brush. You're also going to need paper towels to clean your brushes. You're going to put your oil paint right onto the wax paper. If your wax paper is rolling up on you, put a couple of folds in it to keep it from doing that. Pick the color you're going to use for your monochromatic scales. I'm going to use blue. You're going to take about this much. And then besides the color of your choice, the only other colors you're going to need are black and white. And you may not even need black. I didn't even end up using mine. These are the colors we're going to use for our monochromatic scales because warm colors like red, orange, and yellow don't actually mix very well with black. If you want to use gloves, they're out on the table. I have 2 different sizes, and if they run out, they're in the cupboard below. You have your canvas set up, your paint on your wax paper, your brushes, your brush cleaning tank, and some paper towels. You're ready to begin. Your lightest scale on your value scale is not going to be pure white. It's going to be white with a little bit of whatever color you're using. So just, since I'm using blue, it would just be slightly blue, but really, really light. As you go, you'll add more and more of your color to the white. If you add too much color, it's not a big deal. Just add more white. Remember not to jump too big in your scales, but also not to go too small, something like this. When you have a lot of paint on your brush, you're going to want to wipe it into a paper towel first, and then you can go and clean it in your brush cleaning tank, and then you're going to wipe it again with paper. Getting a soft transition in oil is really, really easy because oil takes forever to dry. So you're just going to take your next value and work it right into the previous value, and it blends really beautifully. If you take your dark value too far into your first one, you can go back with your first value and just work it right into the second one. And again, it should blend really easily and beautifully. When you're finished, your 2 value scales can look like this. You can either take off the masking tape right away, or you can wait until it dries. It's up to you. When you're finished, you're going to take the wax paper you were mixing on, you're going to throw it away, and then you're going to take wax paper that has any globs of paint that are reusable, and you're going to put them inside your table's palette. Don't throw out the turpentine in your jar. Even though it's colored, we're going to reuse it many, many times, so just go ahead and put it back. To clean the oil paint off your table, you're going to need to get a magic eraser that's a little bit damp, put some soap on it, and it should take the oil paint off your table. To get oil paint off your hands, you're going to want to use soap first to break down the oils, and then rinse it with water, and it should come off. To get oil paint on your clothes, you can try using this kiss-off stick in the windowsill, but no promises. Please remember that oil and water do not mix. You cannot wash your brushes in the sink. You cannot use a water cup. It'll make a terrible mess. Only use turpentine. Turpentine is a strong chemical, so you do want to be careful around it. You don't want to be absorbing too much of it into your skin or inhaling it too deeply, so make sure whenever we're using oil paint that we open a few windows Anytime you try a new medium, it can be frustrating. The first time I tried oil paint, I quit because I was frustrated. And then I took a class in college and ended up absolutely loving it. So even if it's new at first or even irritating, I encourage you to push through it because you may end up loving it.